Broad Street Sports, the best Philly sports podcast.
Yo, how are you, Broad Street?
Oh, I'm good, brother. How you doing?
Good. I just want to say one thing, that the Phillies showed MLB, every 29 other teams, especially in division rivals like the Mets and the Braves, and, even though the Braves have a winning record, it's still the Braves. They're going to make a late run at the end of the year. They're probably going to finish with, around 85 wins, I would say. We might base it them in the wild card if we don't win the division. The Mets might win the division. But what they just proved out there was they hit Harper, $330 million. They hit Trey Turner, $300 million. Marchand's hit, I don't think that was on purpose.
I don't believe it was on purpose either.
He's a backup catcher.
That one genuinely looked like it was accidental. The Marchand.
Yeah, and it was too low to bases. Marchand, it is what it is. But why would we allow them to continue to pitch inside to our best players without retaliation? What happens if that's Aaron Judge up there with the Yankees, or Shohei with the Dodgers, or even Soto with the Mets? What happens? Someone gets plunked. What if it's Rafael Devers in Boston? Someone gets plunked. What if it's Bryce Harper? No one gets plunked. Rob shows no energy. He shows no urgency. And, Wheeler has bad days. It is what it is. He's been great all year besides today. But they have to show some energy, some fight, some urgency.
No, I do agree with that. Now, what I was going to get into before you called, it was like, well, we didn't hit somebody in the first game, and we didn't retaliate today or in the second game. But I thought when the game started to get away from Wheeler, when the game started to get away from Joe Ross in the sixth, when the game was like, when the Phillies basically rolled over and rolled into their grave in the second game, that's when I expected some guys to start, throwing inside, start plunking guys, because at that point it doesn't matter. If you want to start throwing guys out, ejecting them, it doesn't even matter. We're losing by 8, So yeah.
Oh yeah, but we have to do that in the first, and we have to send a message that it doesn't matter that the game's tied. It doesn't matter what the score is, because if we just start plunking guys down 8 runs, then all the other teams are like, well, hey, we just have to get up big for them to start hitting us, because if they won't hit us in a close game, they won't hit us to, when the game's 0-0 in the first to get a guy on. They won't do that, so they're just going to throw inside until the game gets out of hand.
No, I do agree with that. And you called in earlier today, and it was like, and I told you, I said, if the Phillies wanted to retaliate, it would have to be Wheeler on Acuna, first inning. And I said they only had one chance at doing that, doing the job. They only have one chance of sending the message. You can't send like a half message and then later in the game do a full message. You can't do it. It's either you go full or not. And the message would only be sent from Wheeler to Acuna. They wouldn't respect it with Joe Ross, or Romano, or Sanchez, or this D. Giroux dude. They wouldn't respect it. It would have to come from Wheeler to Acuna.
Yeah, and you know what really bothers me?
Yeah,
it's not like we just played as the Baltimore Orioles, or Detroit, or a team like that. We played arguably our biggest rivals, in division rivals, in Philly, and they plunk our guys, and they don't get sent home with bruised ribs from a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. We just let. How many games under 500 are they? 7, 8 games?
Yeah, they're a couple games under, yeah.
We just let them come in and prove to the whole league that they can pitch inside to Harper. They can pitch inside to Turner. They can do whatever they want with our batters. And we don't have the balls to, step up and defend our guys. And, at that point, it falls on Rob. Rob's lack of energy is starting to hurt this team. It's hurt us in the playoffs, from last year in the Mets series. Team had no energy. Game 5, 6, 7 versus Arizona, the team had no energy. Like, how do you allow just like I don't want to get into last year, but how do you just allow the bats to get cold that quick into playoffs? It's lack of energy, and it stems from the manager.
It does stem from the manager, and I appreciate the call, Alex. You are the